I'm Oluwadamnola Shoyombo Ojo, and I'm the Executive Director of the Creative Kids Zone. Today we were live at Bayeku Community at the Bales Palace with our program, the Digital Skills Fellowship. So that is a program whereby we're empowering 500,000 students aged 7 to 18 years in different digital skills. Yes, showing them how to use the computer and the different skills, technology skills, and knowledge that we know they need to know in order for them to thrive in the digital age. This program or this project is being sponsored by Dell World. We want to thank them for their support. Right, this is the Bayeku community. So we were able to meet with the ballet to get his permission and to train the children around this community. 99% of those students had never been exposed to computers before, and a lot of them had never had the opportunity to use the laptop before or touch it or do anything on it. So today they were able to experiment how technology works, how to turn it on, turn it off, file management, and a lot more things. Right, so they enjoyed the class. It was very in-depth, very energetic. We want to say thank you as well to Bayeku community for having us. Bayeku is located in the inner part of Igbogbo, Ikorodu. Yes, it's a very rural community. It's fishes, and we have the jetty association. So want to say a big thank you for them for having us, and we hope that the impact you've been able to create lasts long and they can keep developing themselves. So we use this as a call to different organizations who would love to join us in making this happen in their various communities. So if you would like us to come to your community, to come to your school, yes, you have a group of underserved, marginalized children who need to have the exposure to technology skills, to digital skills. Yes, you can reach us to us either via our website or any of our social media channels. Once again, thank you so much for being in the journey on, and we love the of all of the students, and we hope that they will be able to and possibly out of poverty and out of the different challenges that they're facing. Technology, we hope, is going to change the world, and we want them to be a part of it. Once again, I'm Oluwadamnola Shoyombo, and I'm the Executive Director of the Creative Kids Zone.
Okay, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to day 4 of the Holiday Virtual Academy. It's a pleasure to have you here. Welcome, 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 Divine Aribisala, Omokose, Adedeji Ayomide, I see you, you're welcome. Inyoluwa, you're welcome. Ojewumi, you're welcome. Igbinejon, you're welcome. Lamina, Temitope, Moro. Vivian, you're welcome. Victory, you're welcome. Mercy, Adebukola, Adio, Mufokwe Foluwa, Adeni, Israel, you're welcome. Welcome to day 4. If you're excited about today's session, can you just something to show how excited you are in the comment section? Excited about today's session, just drop your favorite emoji in the comment section. Drop in the chat box. Yay. I see you, Temitope Abimbola. You're welcome. Yeah, I see that smile. Aboluchi, you're welcome. Sorotimi Tayo, I see you're welcome. Omokose, Divine, you're welcome. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. We have so much packed for you today, and I promise you can't afford to miss any session of today's program. It's so packed for you. Yeah, quickly, without wasting much of our time, I'm just going to introduce our facilitator for today. He's an amazing, amazing person. Is Mr. Rotimi Eitayo. I'm just going to read out his bio for you this minute. So Rotimi Eitayo is a distinguished business consulting authority recognized for delivering strategic and transformative business consulting services that propel organizations to unparalleled heights. As a trusted advisor to global enterprises, he specializes in providing innovative solutions and sustainable growth strategies. Renowned as a growth management expert, Mr. Eitayo excels in orchestrating and implementing growth strategies that drive profound organizational transformation. With a proven track record of maximizing business potential, navigating complexities, and fostering enduring success, Mr. Eitayo is a facilitation master with a unique ability to engage and inspire diverse audiences. I hope somebody is excited already. Yeah, his expertise extends to being an invited speaker at high-profile conferences, retreats, and workshops, delivering impactful and memorable presentations both within and outside Nigeria. Mr. Eitayo is a sought-after keynote speaker, focusing on topics such as business innovation, leadership, growth, institutional reforms, and transformation, the attainment of smart and safe cities. Known for his dynamic and captivating speaking style, he leaves a lasting impression on his audiences worldwide, drawing from his extensive experience as a speaker at conferences and across the globe. He's recognized as a catalyst for change. Mr. Rotimi Eitayo empowers businesses and individuals to thrive in today's dynamic landscape. His active contributions to the global business community involves fostering connections and sharing insightful perspectives. Additionally, he has championed interventions within agencies, ministries, state governments, and commissions. He's currently serving as the Chief Executive Officer of Team Masters Limited. Mr. Eitayo plays a pivotal role in transforming individuals, businesses, and institutions. If you're excited about our speaker, our facilitator today, can you roll your drums for him as he's going to be coming up in the next minute? Mr. Rotimi Eitayo, you're welcome to today's session, and we are so excited to have you. Can you just tell him, welcome, Mr. Rotimi Eitayo? Drop that in the chat box. Welcome, Mr. Rotimi Eitayo. We're excited to have you in our midst today. All right.
Hello,
all right.
Everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Rotimi Eitayo, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, our chief host, Dr. Grace, aka Chief Coast of Federal Republic of Nigeria. All right, it's a great day, everyone, and I will be taking a very short session today on day 4. I believe day 4. Today is day 4. Am I correct? Today's day 4 of the TCK Virtual Holiday Academy, and we're excited to have you here all together with us. And our goal is to see that participants are empowered, engaged, and also built up to maximize their tech experiences at different levels. So we're excited to have Divine, we're excited to have Omokose, we're excited to have Adebukola Ibinedion, Adeni Israel, Dami from Stokes United. We are excited to have Mercyland. We're excited to have Lamina, and everyone that I can see your name and probably not see your name. So my job today is to spend some time to talk about making money. How many of you would like to make money? How many of you are excited about making money? If you are excited about making money, I want you to say yes in the comment section. I'm excited about making money. Tell says I am. And I've come to realize that over the years, we found out that making money or getting wealth has actually moved from being old. You know, many years ago, if I can recall, I'm sure more than 20 years ago, when you think about money, you're thinking about adults. When you think about making money, you're thinking about people who have grown so old, who have gray hair, who have, sometimes you never thought about it. You cannot have a car until you're old. But as the world keeps changing and changing and changing, we've come to realize that anyone, I repeat, anyone, anywhere, and probably everywhere, have the capacity to generate wealth. And TCK Zone has decided to help us understand that we can get from tech to wealth. We can move from tech to wealth. We can gain knowledge from our digital literacy skills and gravitate to wealth. And that's really what I am here to talk about, from tech to wealth. Making money through tech, whether you're a child in primary school, whether you're in secondary school, whether you're a school leaver, and probably whether it's a family doing things together, a family business. It could be your parents and coordinators listening here today. I want you to understand that you can get moved from tech to wealth. Now, the first thing that I need you to agree with me is this: that wealth in this conversation is tied to tech. I want you to write that down if you don't mind. Wealth in this conversation is tied to tech. Can you do that very quickly? Wealth in this conversation is tied to wealth. What am I trying to say? There are different ways that people can get to be wealthy. There are different ways that people can become wealthy. But for today's conversation, I want you to zone your mind into getting to a point where you are getting wealth from tech. So therefore, every one of us must begin to appreciate what is happening here, that we're being told several things about technology. Digital skills are things that you keep hearing from day 1, day 2, day 3. Last week, Friday, I believe, we went into a moment where we had to do photo or video editing, I believe. And then before then, we had an opportunity to talk about several topics, just so that we can become equipped and empowered. And that's why we're talking about tech to wealth. Now, I need you to understand this as we go forward. Whether you're a very young person or you are extremely, in your teens, or probably you're an older person listening to us now, or probably you might be stumbling on this video much later. I want you to understand some things that will help you get started, to getting to make money from tech, to getting to move from technology to wealth, to getting to use your digital skills to wealth. There are four things I'm going to share with you, and I'll break those four things down. The first thing is this: there are things I want you to realize, and it's called the tech domain for wealth. The tech domain for wealth. You know, if you're listening and you're following me, no, I'm not speaking to myself. I don't know, if you don't mind, just type it. Tech domain for wealth. Tech, T-E-C-H, domain for wealth. Now, I want you to understand, if you've ever heard an adult say this before, type yes. They say that money does not grow on trees. Have you heard that before? As somebody says, you know, money does not grow on trees. However, money is found in domains. Wealth is built through domains, right? So what domains mean is areas. So if I say tech domain for wealth, I could also say tech areas for wealth. Tech domain, tech areas for wealth. Now, I'm going to share with you, if time permits, close to 14 domains of wealth. And this is where you get started, right? For the wealth to happen, we must know where the wealth are, or where the wealth stays, right? So we're going to try as much as possible to look at all this in this short time. The first thing I want you to understand is that there's something called the feeding domain, or better still, some people could call it the food domain. So that's almost like saying that for you and I, there is an area that we can actually empower ourselves, make money, earn money in technology from the area of food. How many of you like food? Raise your hand. Adeni, I'm sure you like food. Adeni Israel, are you there? Yes, Adeni is raising his hand. Fantastic. Mercyland, do you like food? Amazing. Omoko say, do you like food? You're not raising your hand. Okay. So you find out that most of us, we love food. Every young person has to eat, because food is part of the things that we use to grow. Food is part of what keeps us alive. So we want to understand the first domain, meaning that if you and I will make wealth from tech, there is the particular area that money can come from tech, and it is the food domain, feeding domain. Every man and woman, every young boy, every young girl, every teenager loves food, or better still, needs food. Realize that I talked about digital marketing, as we were taught about coding, as we're taught about video editing, photo editing, and we'll be told a lot more today and the rest of the academy. I want you to remember that there are people who constantly are making a lot of money just because their knowledge of technology has been applied to the issues around food. Now, think about it this way. Some of us, we love cereals. Sometimes it could be cornflakes, it could be all those kind of cereals as it were. It could be oatmeal, it could be several kinds of, cereals. But I want you to realize that you cannot have cereal in your house except you go directly to where it is being sold. Meaning that you might have to take a walk or a drive to the supermarket, or better still, you might have to go maybe to the corner shop, or someone has to buy something for you. But do you know that with your knowledge of technology, with your understanding of the tech skills TCK zone putting across, you can easily take the domain of food and feeding into your hands. So while we know that children love cereal, you and I can realize that through digital marketing, we could sell or deliver cereals through our platform and will become one of the go-to points where people make orders for breakfast. So imagine I have what you call the Grace Omilaja breakfast delivery service, and we supply home deliveries. In other words, because I know technology now, because I have digital skills now, I can put together a tech or online business to take care of people's breakfast, meaning that all I'm into is to supply breakfast, whether it's cooked or it is the source of what is being supplied. And you could now call it Africa's #1 kids' choice for breakfast delivery. Now, what am I trying to say? With the knowledge of tech, you can convert wealth from the area of feeding. For someone else, it might not be serious. For someone else, it might be the fact that everybody loves cereal and everybody loves to drink garri. But most people drink garri in different containers. Some in bowls that they got from eateries, some in recycled plates that they got. And guess what? Some other people, they love to take their cereal from customized cereal bowls. But the problem is this: where can I get that authentic, lovely, colorful cereal bowl? Then if you think about the tech skill you learned last week, you can say, aha, tech to wealth, wealth from tech, feeding domain tech. For everyone that wants to drink garri, for everyone that wants to drink cereal, for everyone that wants to take Cerelac or something, I want to be the one to supply them what? Cereal bowls. Before you know it, you take pictures and then put it up. And it could be called Nine Arabisala's cereal bowl or meal bowls, lovely kids bowls. You understand? It could be called Esther Olubimpe Cereal Enterprise or Food Bowl Enterprise. And then everybody begins to see it on Instagram. They begin to see it on Facebook. They begin to see it on all the platforms. And then they now say, I love that color. And you could take a step further to say, I will be branding and customizing these bowls. So if you want your name to be on it, you pay an extra token. And when you pay an extra token, I can now say, Adebola Oluchiban Joko. So that way, your name is on the bowl. It can't be taken away. It can't be stolen. You can't mix it up with someone else. It could be called Adedeji Ayomide. That way, you are putting it in context that there's a lot of money that can be made, but in the area of feeding. Let's think about it. Some of us, while we are walking to our houses, we see some people selling fish, lovely fish, roasted fish. It could be fresh fish. Or you've gone to a particular place and you notice that they have good supply of food stuff. Now, you can take it upon yourself to walk up to that person or talk to your daddy, talk to your uncle, and say, can I get this person to give me an opportunity to help them make more sales? I'm going to say, I am going to be a connector to people with fresh seafood and those who need fresh seafood, and I be the middleman. And before you know it, I'm making money from the domains of feeding. The feeding domain, also the feeding area, meaning that you can have the tech domain for food, you can have the tech area for food, and you'll make money. How many of us understand what I'm trying to say? If you understand, please raise your hand. Fantastic. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, Adebola. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you understand. Absolutely lovely. Now let's go to the second one. The second one is what I would call the clothing domain, right? When you think about it, you'll find out that, you know, a lot of times you and I often have ourselves in a, how do I put it now? Everyone is putting on something, you know. When I look at Adeni is putting on an orange top. Most, you know, when I look at those of you that are putting on your videos, I'm seeing some of the tops that you're putting on. Now, what is that? That is clothing. How many of you can see my shirt? Right? You can see my shirt? Fantastic. So we're talking about the clothing domain, or the clothing area, as it were, the clothing domain for wealth, meaning that we're saying that through clothing, you and I can leverage technology to make wealth. Now, think about it. There are people who have machines. There are people who have industrial machines who are able to produce volumes of tops, of shirts, of things that we put on, right? Things that we wear, things that we carry. Hope you understand. In a real sense, even your bags are within the clothing domain. And we're getting into the rainy season very soon. In other words, what it means is that, in other words, can you mute yourself if you're not trying to ask a question? Please mute yourself. Thank you. So very quickly, the feeding domain is the first one. The clothing domain is the second one, right? So what it simply means is this, that at your age, based on the fact that you are beginning to have clothes that you like, you are beginning to have colors of things that you like, mommy and daddy can listen to your business idea to be one of the clothpreneurs of your time, meaning that you are a clothing entrepreneur. That's why I call it clothpreneur, where you can decide, maybe it's Inioluwa, she decides to say, there is a type of top I like to have, and it's called homewares. You can now call it homewares by Inioluwa. And homewares by Inioluwa will select clothes. Some of it, you don't even need to buy it. You just set up a platform, and they teach you how to set up that platform. You take pictures, and then you edit. Remember that Ibukun on Friday told you about video editing. And then you say, hello, everyone. My name is Inioluwa, and I am a clothpreneur. I would like to introduce you to the range of beautiful clothing that I have for myself and for beautiful girls like me. I would like you to click on this website and browse the website and select amazing options that you and your siblings and your loved ones can take from. I assure you that you're getting quality for the right price. And if you have any questions or you want to talk to me directly, please call 080 -- And before you know it, Inioluwa becomes someone who is in business because she learned a tech skill and then she was able to plug it for me. The money Inioluwa would have been dreaming for doesn't need to happen when she's 40. Doesn't mean it has to happen when she's 30. She doesn't even need to get to university before she begins to thrive, because TCK Zone has reminded her that you can make wealth from tech. I want you to say this after me. Say, from today, I will. From tech. Say it again. From today, I will make wealth.
From tech.
Well, from tech.
Today,
fantastic. One more time. From today, I will make wealth.
I will make tech.
What?
From
From tech. One more time. One more time. One more say. From today, I will make.
I will make tech.
I will make more. Well, from today, I will make more from tech.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so now I know you are going to make wealth. So can you mute yourself so that I continue to show you how you can make wealth? Fantastic. I love the energy in the room. Now let's move quickly because I have a very short time. Remember, we're talking about the domains of wealth. I might not be able to share with you the 14 domains, but I'll just share with you maybe 3 more. And then I will go to the other things I want to say and I'll wrap up. Now, the third domain, we've talked about feeding, we've talked about clothing. Now let's take a look at the third domain, or the third area for wealth. Now I want you to know that there's something called the fun area, or better still, the sports domain for wealth. Now I need you to understand, do you know that even the knowledge you have, there's sports in the knowledge that you have? There's a sporting domain for wealth. How many of you have realized that? Do you know that there are online games that people can participate in from across different locations? That's the sports domain. In fact, we have been told that for us to be very healthy, we must participate one way or the other in sports. Sometimes the sports can be field-based, sometimes the sports can be leisure-based, but it is sports. Are you following what I'm trying to say? Now, some of you, how many of you can swim here? You know how to swim. I want you to say, yes, I know how to swim. The third domain is the sports domain for wealth. You know how to swim? Raise your hand. Do you know how to swim? Say, yes, I know how to swim. I want to see who knows how to swim. I want to give somebody a very good business idea. Oh, you don't know. We're not talking about professionalism now, but you just love swimming pool, you love water, or you know how to swim. Fantastic. So someone says they can swim. Even in our tech team, they're saying they can swim. Fantastic. Now, let me teach you something. Do you know that you can decide? Fantastic. Thank you very much. Now, you know that you can decide to realize that they've told me that swimming is some form of sport. Because swimming is some form of sport, I can decide to say that I will use the knowledge gained from TCK Zone to create, let's say, for example, somebody is living in Surulere. You can decide that I will create the Surulere Kids Swimming Club. The Surulere Kids Swimming Club. Maybe you live in Yaba. You could decide to say, I'm going to create the Yaba Kids Swimming Club. Or better still, you can move away from club and call it maybe the Lekki Swimming League. You create a league out of swimming, just like you have a football league, you have a swimming league. And then all you are doing in your name is to mobilize people to participate in some form of swimming. And then they register, and then maybe it is, let me pick another person's name. Maybe it's, who have I not used now? Let me see. I've used a name. Maybe have I used Adeni Israel? But let's say, for example, Adeni Israel is the one. So Adeni Israel Ikoyi Kids Swimming League. And then everybody begins to register. Now, those who know how to swim participate. Those who don't know get to learn. And then they pay Adeni, and maybe your daddy might be your manager. And I'm sure your daddy will know how to keep the money for you so that you buy your Nike trainers, you buy your ice cream, you read your books, you buy your textbooks, you travel when you want to travel. But remember, because you went into a place called the TCK Virtual Holiday Academy, you were told that anyone can be great, any child can be wealthy. You don't need gray hair to become wealthy. All you need is great strength in tech, great ideas in tech. And when you're able to do that, guess what happens? You begin to navigate the swimming domain. That's the sports. I mean, the sports domain, not swimming domain. So that's the sports. Now, when you are doing that, you begin to realize that maybe Mercyland wakes up and say, if Adeni can have a league, if Ojeomi can have a club, then I think what I will do is this. I will begin to sell fancy eye goggles for those who like to swim. And then your dad or your mom goes and says, you are branding or rebranding, or you are selling on behalf of those people, and then you make videos, and then you now say, here, hello everyone, here is Midland Swimming Enterprise, accessories for swimming. Anyone who is a lover of swimming, anyone who wants to learn how to swim, anyone wants to raise their children to swim, guess what? You can have your accessories from us. All you need to do is check our WhatsApp business status, and you get started. You now begin to supply Adeni. Adeni will now see you as a partner, and then you begin to grow. And before you get into secondary school, you can even sponsor yourself all through your university days, that you don't need to stress mommy and daddy to collect money for school fees. What I'm trying to say is simple, that tech is an enabler. Tech is an amplifier. Tech can transform what you currently have into a bigger version, into an extensive version, into a longer reach that you might have never thought about. Are we together? I hope you are learning something away. I hope you are learning something by the way. Anyone? Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you very much. So I've talked about 3 domains, right? I don't know if I have enough time, but let me quickly run through the others. I'm not going to talk about the domains anymore. I'm going to talk about the next thing. The next thing is that when you know that there's the tech domain, you need to also know that there's a tech decision. Every domain must be followed up with a decision. Now, you and I need to make up minds. We can't do everything. We can't have all our hands in all the pies. But you and I will make our minds to say, I have learned TCK zone. However, I'm going to take a decision. And what's your decision today? You've learned something last week. You've learned a lot of last week. You're learning this week as well. You will come to a point where you need to take a decision. Which one will I follow? Which one will I start? Which one will I use? When you take a decision, guess what happens? You now begin your journey to do what? To wealth. Because now someone might choose swimming, another person might choose running, another person might choose high jump, another might choose something else. But your goal is to make up your mind that out of the domains that I've heard, domains that I've seen, I will decide to take a step in a particular direction. Now, there is the domain. The first thing you need to know is there's a tech domain. For you to get from tech to wealth, you need to understand the domain. And I'll share you. Now, the next is you need to take a decision. There's a tech decision that must be made. No one can jump into wealth outside their decision for wealth. And that's why I said that you should say, from today, I will make wealth through tech. Now, the third thing is that once you are able to back up your decision, what you get when you take decisions is direction. So there's a tech direction. There's a tech direction. So you have the tech domain, you have the tech decision to make, then you have the tech direction to follow. Now, some of you will realize that as you begin to learn, you might even learn you will learn game development, you learn all these things. You have to take a direction. It's your direction in this particular decision from this particular domain to help. Is your direction to simplify? Is your direction to solve problems? Is your direction to eradicate something? Is your direction to provide something that is missing? Is your direction to fix something that is broken? Whatever thing you take as a domain, whatever decision you make, the direction must follow. That direction makes you very specific. That direction makes you very specific. Please, if you're not, you're expected to mute your mics, please. Thank you. So that direction is there. And I'm saying this, it looks simple, but I've seen it happen in my life. I've seen it happen in several people's lives, that every domain that you get to understand is the beginning point. That's the foundation. No, because you cannot do without knowing. Our decision for you to do. The doing comes from the decision. Now I know, now I find a direction in the place I'm doing. Let me use another example. I'm sure you know that you have people who sell oranges, you have people who sell orange juice. Now, you get juice from orange or oranges, but you also have people who have processed the juice already. So the two can say they are both in the business of selling orange juice. One is natural fruits, the other one probably is processed fruit. Now, what are we saying? Their directions are not the same, even though their business is in a similar industry or similar area or similar domain. So you have a domain, you have your decision to make, you have your direction to follow. Now, when you do this, you will end up with the last part, which is the vision. And our destination is wealth. And what we're saying is that you and I, as we partner together with TCK Zone, as we partner together with the knowledge you have been taught, there is a destination for all of us. Everything you learn and everything you do that I can be anything with tech. I can grow anything with tech. I can amplify anything with tech. How do I do that? Then I come to a place and a point where I am at my destination. And by God's grace, listen carefully. As you listen and take the right decision, as you listen and get the best of knowledge, you begin to see that you are steered in the right direction. And when you are in the right direction, you will end up in the right destination. And your destination is wealth. I said your destination is wealth. Now, some of you might be wondering, this thing called wealth, what is it all about? I'll tell you as I bring this to a close. You know, when you want to spell wealth, I want you to look at it from the things that you will do. I also want you to look at it from the things that you will have. So can you write wealth down? And I'll share with you what I mean. So the things that you will do, right, is different from the things that you will have. So when you have wealth, what it simply means is that for you to have wealth, there must be some measure of work. That is W, work. There must be something you will work on. There must be something you will do. If you listen to some of the examples I shared, there was work that was done. And I want you to finish today or finish at this academy and see what is the work that must be done. A lot of children don't like to do work. Without work, you might not get wealth. Wealth is incomplete without work, right? Now, the next thing is that you will need to engage. That's the letter E, engage. The letter E, engage. Think about it. There is a sector you will engage. There is a set of people you will engage. There's an area you will engage. Some of your friends have to be engaged. Tell them, hey, do you know, Jeremy, do you know what I'm doing? Oh, Mostope, do you know what I'm involved in? Adeni, do you know I've started an enterprise? From today, you will love work. And at the same time, you begin to engage. Some of us, we just want to stay on our tablets. I don't want to engage mommy. I don't want to engage daddy. I don't want to engage anybody. Just leave it to my tablet. If you really want to get wealth, you will move. You will touch. You will talk to people. You'll be happy when they say, let's go for so person's birthday. Why? Because every time you engage, you create connections. You create influence. So you will engage. The next thing is that the next letter is A. Are we together? You must learn to ask questions. Moshope, I want to ask you a question. Are you there, Mosokwe? I want to ask you a question. Who is talking to you right now? I don't want you to answer, but I just wanted to tell you, we must begin at an early age to ask questions. You know, sometimes someone said some time ago, many years ago, I don't know if it's still true, that the difference between European children and Nigerian children is the fact that Nigerian children don't like to ask questions. They are timid and shy. But when you meet an average European kid, the person will engage you and ask you questions. What's your name? You say so. Why is your name so? Because my parents called me that. Why did your parents call you that? Because they got inspired. Why was the inspiration towards that direction? Because of something else. Why was that thing else the reason? They will ask and ask till you are tired. But you see, the one who asks questions will always have answers. If you are looking for answers in life, ask questions. If you are looking for answers in your studies, ask questions. If you are looking for wealth and how to make it, ask questions. If you are looking for people to buy your products, ask questions. If you are looking for people to love your enterprise or the club or the league or the sport or the accessories that you make, ask questions. The one who asks will never miss road, as people will say. So if you really want to get to the destination you're looking for, ask questions. Now, I want to tell you something. The next thing is very important that you need to do. The L in the word wealth is called listen. Listen. Now, you have asked questions, but you need to learn here. When you grow older, you will hear what we call feedback. You hear things like survey. You hear things like questionnaires. The reason for these things is behind what? The fact that we must listen. Listen to your parents, listen to your guardians, listen to the news, listen to what's happening. I have seen children invent things because they listen to what is happening in town. Somebody has listened to the town, to the news in town that electricity tariff is high. And then they decide to say, I'm going to invent a energy saving cost product or something. And before you know it, they're in business. You know why? They learned to listen. Adamant students, stubborn students, students that are recalcitrant, they learn too late because they don't listen too early. I want you to listen. Every business person listens. You see, there's no product that you have today in the world that wasn't as a result of you listening to the needs of the people. Raincoat was as a result that people looked at people who were stuck in the rain and then they listened. What could their need be? They listened to what the people should have said, but they didn't say it. They listened to the desires in their heart and they didn't get to say it. And so they picked it up and said, what if I created something that will protect the clothes when you are in the rain? Boom, raincoat came. When you listen very well, you realize that children sometimes love to play. And you realize that especially those in the sports, they love to play and they are sweating. Somebody in Europe, no, in America, listened to that need, created a vest that's water follicle. It's light, you can still run, but you will not feel the sweat or the stickiness. That's a product and it's sold at an expensive amount. When you listen, you not only learn, when you listen, you will lead. Any student, any boy, any girl that listens will learn and will lead. Now understand, we've talked about wealth. W for what? Work. E for engage. A for ask. L for what? Listen. The next thing is T. That T, you need to learn to trust. I need you to understand that sometimes as we grow older, we tend to doubt ourselves. We tend to doubt our instructions from inside of us. We tend to doubt mommy. We tend to doubt dad. we tend to doubt the world. Because the more you grow older, you have heard a lot of no, no, I want cake, no, I want to play game, no, I want to stand up, no, I want to sit down, no, I want to sleep, no. Over a period of time, the lots of no's that you've heard causes you to even doubt yourself. Do my parents love me? Do my teachers love me? Do my friends love me? And because you've practiced doubt, it also affects creativity. And that's why if you thought about it, that, wow, mommy, what if I wrote a book using AI and I wrote a storybook for my friends to read? Oh, mommy, they won't like it. Why did you say they won't like it? Who told you your friends are the only people in the world? There are millions of children in the world that will pick your book and like it. And so I'm talking to someone who has a book locked up on their inside, that trust yourself, trust your God, trust your God, and make sure that technology brings the value of the ideas you've been locking inside. Don't keep it inside any longer. Trust it will work. How many of us are going to trust from today? Fantastic. Trust. Absolutely. Debola, thank you. Trust. Now, think about it. Wealth is work. The work to do, engage. You must ask questions. You must listen. You must trust. Now, very important. This one is very important. You must be humble. That's the last word and letter in the wealth. You see, true wealth, right? True wealth in a person is not showing that you are better than others. In fact, the one who feels puffed up tends to lack sustenance of wealth. True, long-lasting wealth is something that comes from a humble person. So you must learn how to be humble. Don't say, my daddy has this, my mommy has this, I have this, or my idea is better than, no. Stay humble. You see, when you're humble, you will know when your product has an error and you can fix it. When somebody talks to you, humility will allow you to listen. Be humble in school, be humble at home, be humble with your siblings, be humble with others. When your teachers or when the instructors are talking, be humble enough to listen. You're going to learn on game development, be humble enough to listen. Be humble enough to ask questions. If they say any question and you have a question, be humble enough to accept and say, I have a question. That is wealth. The things you must do. And finally, the things that you will have through wealth. Let me explain what you will have. There are some things that you will have through wealth. I've still used the word wealth, right? Now, when you think about it, W, for you to look at what you have, right? When you are able to manage and work through all I've said, when you are able to leverage from technology, you begin to have, sometimes they call it a wow effect. You begin to have what you call experience, right? You begin to find out that people are already in awe of what you do. I'm sure if I asked you about certain products, how many of you like that product? Some of you will shout, I love the product. Why? Because it was something that someone did and people now began to love it. How many of you love football? Some of you raise your hand. Guess what? Somebody invented football. And now that person is having a wow experience. Wow is spelled W-O-W. Somebody is going to have a wow acronym. W-O-W. Number 2, the E. Okay, someone raising hands. If you have a question, are you raising your hand? Okay, nobody's raised there. All right. Then the next thing that you have, right? Adebola, do you have a question? You're raising your hand. Are you there? Okay, let me run through. Someone says, I published a book last year, but I don't know how well. I'm not sure if you can you rephrase that? You published a book last year, but you don't know how well it's online. I don't know how well it's doing online or how it will go online. Is that what you're trying to say? Well, okay, I don't know how to sell it online. Fantastic. That is why you're here. So, this is what we're saying. You've done the work to publish. Now, you want to do what? Have a lot of patronage beyond your physical domain. So there's something called Amazon, right? And there are books that you can sell on Amazon. There are also things that you can sell on several online platforms. When you search online, you have even book platforms, Okada Books, you have Warita Publishers, different people who actually are dedicated to nurturing publishers or authors who have content online. So, I probably would ask one of us to take our time to take you through the dynamics of doing that. There will be some steps you might need to take, whether the person who helped you to publish will have to put the book in a dimension. There's the Kindle version. You might need to make the content reside to the platform, and then you would, of course, have profit share and all those things. And that's a very good one, right? So Amazon is a very good place to publish your books, and you have a global audience. And if your book does well, you have a good content and attractive title. I think that you'll be shocked in days, in weeks. You just find out that it's almost like an automated way to sell amazing stuff. So that's that. So now, very quickly, you have the wow effect. But then what you begin to have is you begin to have what you call exchange. What you begin to have is what you have as exchange. So we'll share link with you on the group, and we'll make sure that you're on Telegram community. So you have what you call exchange. Let me tell you, wealth comes through exchange. Now, when people begin to say, oh, can you give me your contact? They're exchanging your contact for something. Can you give me your product? That's what happens. Wealth is as a result of exchange. Value exchange brings money. Value exchange brings wealth, right? So you have the wow experience, you have exchange. And then you now begin to have what you call access. A wealthy person, check that person very well. He has access. He has access to people. He has access to resources. He has access to technology. He has access to greatness. He has access to influence. He has access to impact. He has access to mommy. He has access to daddy. He has access to your school leaders. He has access to even anyone, because wealth is as a proof of access. And then you begin to have, as you get into wealth, you begin to have people who love you. But then that L is not just the love. You now begin to have leadership. You are leading in friendship. You are leading with others. You are leading for others. You are leading before others. That's leadership. Wealth puts you as a leader. You understand? And then, of course, I want you to understand, wealth is in itself the ability to be galvanized. So you begin to have tools, at your age. Some of you are still teenagers, some of you are young. As we grow older, our tools will be different. Tools of work or tools of fun. For some older people, they are tools, they call them toys. Some people get to have opportunity to buy the things they fantasize about. Some of them have the opportunity to make impact, to do things that are community-driven, to create social impact. Some of them have the ability to cater for their needs. You begin to have the tools, the means. Do you understand? Someone is raising hands again. Adebola, your hand is up.
Sorry, it was a mistake.
Okay. All right. So, So that's that. You have what you call tools. But the one that I will end with, when we have the WEALTH, is that the fact is that as you grow and as you stand, you have hope. You see, there's something that you need to understand. Wealth in itself is a recipe for hope. You see, when you have money, right? When you have wealth, when you have all the things I've talked about, you have hope. It's easy for you to say, I want to study so in the university. I want to study in Nigeria. I want to study outside Nigeria. I want to go for summer. You know why? There is hope. Hope for tomorrow, hope for today, hope for enterprise, hope for career, hope across every area of your life. Jeremy is asking, how does wealth come through exchange? Of course. So for example, I have this marker in my hand, right? You can't say it. Can you say it? I have this marker in my hand. It is my marker. If I exchange this marker with Ojeomi, I will exchange it for something of value as well. Most times, I would exchange it for money. Or I will exchange it for access. Or I will exchange it for something. That thing to me makes me wealthy. So exchange must happen. I hope that answers your question. Does that answer your question? Fantastic. All right. So we've learned a lot today, and we talked about moving from tech to wealth, having wealth from tech. Remember, there are 4 dimensions to this thing. It starts with the domain. You move to your decision. The decision gives you the direction. Eventually, slowly but surely, you get to your destination. I hope you've learned something today. If you have, say yes. I hope you've enjoyed the session. If you have, say yes. I hope you are going to take a decision to do something. If you're going to do that, say yes. And I believe that I hope you have the hope that you will end up being wealthy because you are moving from tech to wealth. Say yes. I will say congratulations to you in advance because I say wealthy Adeni, I say wealthy Ojeomi, I say wealthy Mosokwe, I say wealthy Grace, I say wealthy Adibukola, I say wealthy Somto, I say wealthy Abiodun, Adebola, Adedeji, Adeni, Israel. I see wealthy people. I see Alexander Adesanya wealthy, Ayomide wealthy, Daniel wealthy. I see all of you wealthy. I think you should give yourself a round of applause as you're clapping for your wealthy version, as you're seeing a wealthy version of yourself, and believing that you will put all that you will learn from today and always, you put it to test, because wealthy people are not wasteful people. They take everything that they have and they pour it, they convert it, and they do something with it, right? Thank you for the opportunity. I hope you've learned something today. God bless you. So if you have questions, I'll be here to answer your questions. I will hand over now to our chief host, Grace, I believe, Dr. Grace Umilaja. Over to you. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Rotimi Eitayo. Thank you so much for that amazing session. In fact, can you guys just drop thank you, Mr. Rotimi? Thank you, Mr. Rotimi. And when you do that, drop from today, I will make money, I will make wealth through tech. Drop that in the chat box. From today, I will make wealth through tech. Then say thank you, Mr. Rotimi. Yes. Thank you, Hope. I can see your comment. Esther, I can see your comment. Yes, Hope. Yeah, I can see your comment. You make millions. Dream higher. You make billions. Yeah. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, Musope Oluwa. Thank you so much. Yes, Adebola, that's the vibe. I will make trillions. Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Rotimi, for that insightful session. Wow. It's been really eye-opening. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Please, if you have questions for Mr. Rotimi before he leaves, can you drop that in the chat box? If you have any question, any concerns, is there anything you're trying to do to make wealth but you're scared? Please, is here with us for the next 5 minutes. If you're here with us, just drop it in the chat box. Drop it in the chat box. Adedeji says I'll make zillion. Okay, all right. Okay, if you have questions, let's drop that in the chat box or just raise your hand. Yes, okay. I believe nobody has a question. Or is anybody typing? Gazillions. Amazing, amazing, amazing. All right, in the absence of questions for Mr. Rotimi, once again, we want to say thank you so much for that insightful session. I'm sure that our mind has experienced a paradigm shift from where it used to be. Thank you so much, sir. We are truly honored to have you here with us. Thank you, sir. Until next time, thank you, sir. All right, quickly, I'm going to be inviting our dear person, Kwadio, to come up for the next session. Yes, Kwadio, over to you, please.
All right, thank you, Grace. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please. Grace, can you hear me? If you can hear me, please say it in the comment section.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right,
yes,
amazing. So we're going. Okay, so I'm sure hi everyone. Okay, have I star I Abiodun. Thank you so much. So we're in the quiz session and we're going to be doing something amazing right now here. Okay, good. Yes, thank you so much. So we're going to be having a quick game, right? And I've compounded a couple of questions for us to answer. That was our normal routine. What we do, the first person that types the correct thing in the chat box, the correct answer in the chat box, gets to be the winner to win 10 points for today. So I'm going to be sharing my screen right now. And I just have very few questions for us. Sorry, please, I need to be able to share my screen. Okay, so while they are doing that, I'm going to be, the way the game goes, there's a rule for the game. So when I share my screen, you're going to see the question, I'm going to read it out, and some of them comes with hints and some of them not. So you're going to type the correct answer in the chat box. So I need to be allowed to share my screen, please. Okay, so while that is being done, I will just go on to start asking the question. I want you to, okay, yes, so here we go. Now, looking at what I have here, we're going to start from the first question. Sorry, I'm going to go back to the first question. Now, the first question I have, what do you call a funny image or video that spreads rapidly online? It's a funny video or it's a funny image. What do you call a funny image or video that spreads rapidly online? Please put your comments in the chat box right now. Let me know who is the first person. Okay, I need more comments. Thank you so much. I need more comments. Comments. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And that round has gone. Okay, that round has gone. Thank you so much. So we're going to go to the next question. This one says, which online platform is known for its short instructions on various topics? Which online platform is known for its short instruction on various topics? Can I get my answers already? The next question has been dropped, so I need another answer. Which one is known for its short videos on different instructions on different topics? Okay, I'm waiting, everyone. I need the answers. I need more comments coming in. It's used for short videos on different instructions. Okay. All right. That's gone. That has gone. That question has gone. Then the next question we have, as you can see, what is the name of our first instructor? I told us to note our instructor. So I want us to type the name of our first instructor on the chat box. The name of our first instructor. Okay, more people coming in, more people coming in. I need more answers. I need more answers. The first person to drop the answer is the winner. The name of our first instructor. Who is our first instructor? Who was our first instructor? Sorry. Who was our first instructor for the session? I'm not talking about just this session. I'm talking about the initial session, the first one we had initially, not today's own. Okay, so I'm going to take that again. Who was the first instructor for our first session in this virtual holidays session? Who was our first instructor? Yes, that's the person. That's who I want you to say in the chat box. All right. More answers coming in, and that is gone for this round. Now the next question is, what is the meaning of what you can see on your screen? It says IoT. What does the acronym stand for? We're here to learn about digital literacy, and we need to know things. We need to test our knowledge on certain things. I need more answers coming in. I'm not fast with it though. I'm picking our winner from whoever it is that answers the questions first. So I want you to write your answers, please. What is the answer of the acronym for IoT? What does that mean? All right, this has gone. Now the next one is already even written on the chat box already. It's already showing on the screen. Yeah, so when I work my way to leverage wealth, what do I get in return? Mr. Rotimi said it just now. It begins with a W. When you work, yes, I know you're working. He mentioned it. He said when you work, or when you leverage wealth, when you work your way to leverage wealth, it begins with a W. So I'm not seeing any answer right now. I'm just seeing different answers that are not correct. He said it right now. He said you get something. It begins with a W. He said it right now, and I don't understand why we're forgetting what Mr. Rotimi said. It's not. He said to leverage wealth, you get something in return. Not wealth exactly. There is something you get in return. You begin to see it as part of the first stage. It begins with a W, and then that is gone. I have recorded my answer. And then for the last question, what does the acronym CC mean in mail technology? What does the acronym CC mean in mail terminology? The first person to give me my answer. I'm waiting. The first person to give me my answer wins. More comments, more answers, more comments, more answers, more comments, more answers. All right, I need 2 more comments and then done. We're done with the session. Amazing one, guys. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And yes, that's the end of our very short quiz session for today. All right. Once we're done with the entire class, with the entire session, I'm going to come back to say one. So I'll be handing over to Grace now to continue. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Adio Ibukoluwa. Thank you for that session. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm sure we learned a thing or two from that session. Yeah. All right, so we'll be going on a short break. If you want to drink water, just stretch your legs. You can just take a break for just 5 minutes, and we'll be back with our practical session. All right. Thank you so much. See you in 5 minutes time. Thank you. Please ensure you do not leave. Just stay here.
Hello, I'm Oluwadamnola Shoyombo Ojo, and I'm the Executive Director of the Creative Kids Zone. Today, we were live at Bayeku Community at the Bales Palace with our program, the Digital Skills Fellowship. So that is a program whereby we're empowering 500,000 students aged 7 to 18 years in different digital skills. Yes, showing them how to use the computer and the different skills, technology skills, and knowledge that we know they need to know in order for them to thrive in the digital age. This program or this project is being sponsored by Their World. We want to thank them for their support. Right, this is the Bayeku community. So we were able to meet with the ballet to get his permission and to train the children around this community. 99% of those students had never been exposed to computers before, and a lot of them had never had the opportunity to use the laptop before or touch it or do anything on it. So today they were able to experiment how technology works, how the computer works, how to turn it on, turn it off, file management, working with game development, and a lot more things, right? So they enjoyed the class. It was very in-depth, very energetic. We want to say thank you as well to Bayeku community for having us. Bayeku is located in the inner part of Igbogbo, Ikorodu. Yes, it's a very rural community. It's a riverine area, so we have a lot of the parents here who make fisheries, and we have the jetty association here as well. So I want to say a big thank you for them for having us, and we hope that the impact we've been able to create last long and they can keep developing themselves. So we use this as a call to different organizations who would love to join us in making this happen in their various communities. So if you would like us to come to your community, to come to your school, yes, you have a group of underserved, marginalized children who you know need to have the exposure to technology skills, to digital skills. Yes, you can reach us to us either via our website or any of our social media channels. Once again, thank you so much for being a part of this journey. It's been an amazing one, and we love the excitement and the anxiousness of all of these students, and we hope that they will be able to use this to better their future, their family, and possibly bring up their community out of poverty and out of the different challenges that they're facing. Technology, we hope, is going to change the world, and we want them to be a part of it. Once again, I'm Oluwadamnola Shoyombo, and I'm the Executive Director of the Creative Kids Zone.
Or if it's puppy, that's a cute. Charlie. This one, sure. That dog. I think that is one piece of pigeon like an. Oh, this one. Yes. That's Farida. That's a this house.
Yeah, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to the next session. I hope you're ready. You're ready for our practical session now. Without wasting much of our time, I would like to introduce without wasting much of our time, I would like to introduce our next facilitator. His name is Mr. Adebukola Omotosho. He's a STEM educator, a cybersecurity specialist, and an authority in system design, robotics, embedded systems, simulation, and programming. He trained the winning team for the LEGO National Robotics Olympiad and the World Robotics Olympiad in Indonesia and Qatar. He's also amongst the facilitators of Team Nigeria that won medals at the first Global Robotics Olympics in Washington, D.C. Also, he functioned as a project manager for MS4 SSA, that is Mathematics and Science for Sub-Saharan Africa in Lagos, a World Bank initiative to train African teachers in STEM. Mr. Adebukola has facilitated STEM trainings across Africa in physical computing, 3D modeling and designs, additive manufacturing, programming, and robotics. He has worked with various organizations, including but not limited to the Nigeria Television Authority as a communications engineer, ArcLight Nigeria Limited as a robotics instructor, Alpha Science and Technology Foundation as a lead robotics instructor, is a senior educator with STEM Cafe, is a lead facilitator at SAIL Innovation Lab, and is currently the lead instructor at the Creative Kids Zone. Can you put your clapping emoji in the chat box as a welcome Mr. Adebukola Omotosho for his session? I want to see your clapping emoji and put welcome Mr. Adebukola in the chat box. Welcome Mr. Adebukola. I hope you're excited. He's here to teach us how to develop games using PictoBlocks. Yes, so welcome Mr. Adebukola. Welcome Mr. Adebukola. Yeah, Adebola, I can see your comment. Divine, I can see your comment. Farida Fogo, I can see your comment. Over to you, Mr. Adebukola. Thank you so much.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. If you can hear me, please drop a thumbs up in the chat box so I know that you can hear me. All right. Okay. All right, fantastic. Okay, so let's get right into it. Because of our time, I wouldn't want to keep us here longer than we should. So today we'll be talking about game development, right? The first session, right, talked about different domains or different ways through which you can generate wealth. Quite frankly, yeah, you can actually make money through game development. A lot of us, we play games. Yeah, I'm sure if I put it to us now, list a couple of games that you really enjoy playing. I'll see the likes of, let's say, Subway Surf, Candy Crush, PUBG, Call of Duty, and the likes, right? Is that right? Feel free to drop, your favorite game in the comment section. Yeah, let's see. What kind of games do we enjoy playing? Roblox, okay, nice. Roblox, that's a nice one. Minecraft, fantastic. Football games, nice. Thank you. All right, cool. Call of Duty, Free Fire, interesting. Pogo, man after my heart. Subway Surfer, nice. All right, thank you all so much. Yeah, so let's take for instance the creators of Call of Duty, Activision. Right? Mr. Rotimi earlier was talking about generating wealth, creating wealth. And would you believe if I told you that the creators of Call of Duty last year made over $8 billion? Right? Convert that into Naira, that's over 10 trillion Naira in just games. Okay, so you see that there's a lot of money when it comes to game development, right? And even though game development is quite broad, right, we're going to start off very simple. Okay, whenever you start learning, you start from the basics. For instance, even when you started school, you did calculus or algebra, right? You started with letter words, alphabets, A, B, C, then you move to 2-letter words, 3-letter words, and so on. Right, so it's something like that. You don't learn something starting from the advanced stage. Okay, so this is going to be more like an introduction to game development. So we'll be creating a very fantastic, very interesting game today, right? But we'll just keep it simple. Okay, don't worry, I will try as much as possible to break it down for us to understand and easily follow. But then if you get lost at any time, don't worry about that, because these sessions are being recorded, so you can go back at a later time, watch the videos, and you can follow along. All right, so for today, we'll be using a platform called PictoBlocks. If you have PictoBlocks downloaded and installed on your computer, can you just drop a yes in the comment section, please? A yes. If you have PictoBlocks downloaded, okay. Adebola says yes. All right, that's nice, fantastic. Fogo says no. Okay, no problem. No problem. Right, no, okay, some of us have PictoBlocks installed, and some of us don't. All right, that's fine. That's no problem at all. Now, usually when you're creating games, right, you need a platform, okay, that allows you to do quite a number of things. For instance, of course, because remember I said we are starting off from the beginning, from the basics. So we're trying to keep things as simple as possible. But let's say we are advanced game developers. Yeah, we'll require some things called game engines, and those are like where you go to, or where the environment where you create your games, such that it's easy for you to do some things. For instance, you don't have to worry about writing codes for movements. You don't have to write codes about maybe some effects in your game. Maybe when you throw a ball up, of course, you should come down because of gravity, right? So you don't have to write all those codes. They are already there in your game engine. So you can just tap into that and make it work, all right? But we are not going to be using anything that's advanced. We are going to be using PictoBlocks, which is somewhat like the elder brother of Scratch. And I believe majority of us here are familiar with Scratch. Yes? If you're familiar with Scratch, please leave a yes in the comment section. Right? Oh, nice. Fantastic. Awesome. Good. So this is going to make things a lot more easier. All right. So very quickly, I'm going to share my screen. I'll run us through, for those of us that haven't downloaded PictoBlocks, I'll run us through how to do that. Right. Please note, because these sessions are timed, I would not wait for us to download and install. Like I said, these sessions are recorded, so you can go back, watch the videos, and you just follow along. Okay, so what I would really want from you is to give me your utmost attention. Okay, pay attention to everything I say, all the explanations, the concepts I'll be explaining, because that's what really matters. All right, once you get that, you'll be able to play pretty much any game of your choice. All right, 1 minute. Let me share my screen. Okay, let me just start with browser. All right, that's not what I want to show. Okay, so if you haven't downloaded PictoBlocks, it's quite easy. All you have to do is go to Google and type in PictoBlocks. Okay, this is how PictoBlocks is spelled. P-I-C-T-O-B-L-O-X. Okay, the blocks is not the regular blocks, it's P-O-B-L-O-X. right? Once you type that in and you've pressed enter, you'll see a few links that will be generated for you. All right. The second one says download PictoBlocks. Yeah. So you click on that, download PictoBlocks. Okay, just a minute. All right, and then it brings you to the Stempedia page that allows you, depending on the operating system you're using. If you're using a Windows computer, you have the options to download for Windows computers here. If you're using a Mac OS or a MacBook, right, you have the options to download. If you're using Linux, and even if you are using maybe your tablet, for instance, Android, or your iPad, iOS, you can also download PictoBlocks on all of those. All right, so there are different versions. If you want older versions, you will see them here, but usually it's good to stay up to date. So always download the latest version, okay, so that your games or whatever you're doing, your applications will run smoothly, okay? So in my case, this is what I'll be downloading, but I already have PictoBlocks installed, so I don't need that. If you haven't, make sure you look for the proper version and the proper installer for your computer, and then you click on that. All right, so that's all you need. Once you download PictoBlocks, you go to wherever it's been downloaded to, usually the downloads folder. You double click on it and you just follow the instructions. It's very straightforward, okay? It might ask you agree to some terms. Yeah, once you agree to those terms, just click next, and install. You should go to, right? So of the way, let's get into what we have for today. Game development. Okay, so 1 minute, please. So when we're talking about creating games, it's more about understanding how you can take instructions and break them down into something you can tell it how to do. Okay, this is what we create today. I'll walk through how we create this. Okay, it's a very simple maze game. Okay, but here is this: to determine what goes on in your game as the developer, right? If you want, your character to jump whenever the space bar is clicked, you have to put in that instruction. You have to say, oh, when the space bar is clicked, I want so character to jump. Okay. If you want the character to maybe so much when the W is pressed, yes, okay. Anything you want to happen in your game, you have to, first of all, I would usually advise that you plan it out. What does it feel like, right? What are the things you want to do? Once you have it planned out, be able to break it down into steps, and then you will be able to tell the codes for them, right? So this game here, it already has some rules that I have created, and I'm going to walk us through it in a bit. 1 minute. So, just give me a minute. What I have done here is very simple. Get Toby. Toby is character here. I want to get Toby from the starting point to where the green line is, the green finish line. All right. So, starting point here, I have to maneuver this without bump into the wall. Okay, without bumping into the wall. Now, what happens starts this, okay? Note that the limits I have is 5. Bump into the wall, like that. Not only do I lose a life, right? I go back to the same position. So those are rules that I have incorporated into the game to make it a little bit more difficult, a little bit more fun, all right? So you can't just play around and just run around doing as you please. You have to be careful about the way you move. If you are too fast, you bump into the wall to the and lose a life. So very line. So create this game. And then we have any question at the end, I'll be happy to answer of that. But please and please, I would really want us to be doing a bit of code. Adopt this blocks to create a new project. Nope, I don't think I need to. You will be greeted with, okay. What would have all this that we now of lab that everybody is using to edit their pictures, and make you look so good, right? Things come from machine learning, learn all of that to block. And for game development session, we're using is the book. Since we are all right. Sorry about the break in transmission. Can you all hear me? If you can, please just drop a thumbs up in the chat. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, let's get back to it. So I will be sharing my screen now. All right, so since majority of us are familiar with Scratch, I don't think I need to go over the interface to save time. All right. But as we go on, I'll do my best to also touch on everything that I believe is important. Okay, so to start with, we need an environment where our game would happen, right? You noticed that was a maze game. And if I go to say backdrop, for instance, there is no maze here. So if I search for maze, so there is maze here, but this is not the kind of maze that I want. Yeah, this maze doesn't give me the kind of vibe that I want. All right, so I'm looking for something black and white, which is also a good point or a good way for us to learn how to import backdrops. For those of us that don't know, you can actually import backdrops. Okay, so just going to before just so you know, quickly I'm going to go back to my browser. So we can start with that. Okay, and then I will search for simple white and black maze. Okay, simple white and black maze. All right. Now, feel free to use any, but of course, I'm looking for something that we can finish on time, right? That's why I didn't go with something so complex or so difficult. Just look for a simple one that you know that you can finish in seconds. You don't want to spend all day playing the game. Of course, you can create levels to your game also, but we won't be covering that today. We are just, like I said, this is just introduction. As we go on, we look at ways to make your games more advanced and more interesting. Okay, you can add difficulty levels to it. You can add, different levels, or level 1, level 2, different points. So once you've seen a maze you like, all right, all you have to do is right click and save image as to download and save it. Okay, save image as. So you click on this. Okay, you see a window that will pop up. the window would ask you, where would you like to save? You can save to your desktop, you can save to downloads, but please note where you saved your image to, because that's very important. Okay, all right, very, very important. So once you do that, just click on save. Okay, and we should be good to go. Now, once we have our backdrop, I'm going to jump back into PictoBlock now. I'll jump back into PictoBlocks. Just give me a minute. All right. So now in PictoBlocks, we can go to our backdrop. Yeah, just as it is in Scratch, very, very similar. Okay, but now we are not going to click on it yet. We'll have to select this menu here that says upload backdrop. Yeah, upload backdrop. So we click on that. All right, it opens up a window. Now this window is what would allow us select the backdrop we saved. Okay, this is mine here in downloads. If yours was saved to desktop, then you would have to go to desktop. All right, you can just click on desktop here to look for your maze, but mine saved to downloads. I'm already in downloads, so I'm just going to click on maze. Yeah, and then I will click on open. Click on maze and then click on open. Okay, it's going to bring in the maze, and now we have the maze in PictoBlocks, yeah, as a backdrop. So that's a way to import backdrops into PictoBlocks, and you can also do the same for Scratch. Remember, they are very much alike. So if there's a backdrop you really need, or let's say you're creating a game or you're creating a scene and there's a backdrop you want, but it's not in Scratch or PictoBlocks, you can actually look for it online, yeah, or even create one yourself. You can design one if you are good with things like maybe Canva or maybe any software like Photoshop and the rest, right? You can create a backdrop, right? Save it as a picture, PNG or JPEG, all right, and then import it into PictoBlocks or Scratch, right? Now I'm going to have to edit this maze a bit because I don't want. Does anyone have a question? I heard someone speak. All right. So I don't want this red arrow and green arrow. Yeah, I don't want that. So the first thing I'll do is to kind of erase it, but instead of erasing, I'm just going to cover it up with a white square. Seeing that the background in PictoBlocks is white, it's going to blend in. All right. So how do I do that? The first thing I want to do is I want to convert this image into a vector. See this button down here? Yeah, convert to vector. So I'm going to click on that to convert the image to vector. Now, what this does is it allows me to make edits to the picture, to change the picture, but in a way that I can go back to edit those changes. Because if I leave it the way it was as a bitmap, it's not going to allow me to do that. It's going to be difficult. So once I've created a vector, it allows me to kind of make changes on top of changes, which is quite good. Okay, so in case you make a mistake, you can always go back to fix that mistake. All right, so to get rid of the arrows, I'm going to zoom in here a bit. Okay, let's zoom in so we can see it better. I'm using the scroll buttons to just move left and right. All right, nice. So I'm going to select, let's see. Let's go with rectangle. Okay, I'm going to select the rectangle icon. I will change my color, my fill color to white. All right, all I have to do is just change the saturation, drag it all the way. Okay, so now I'm going to draw a white square over this to hide it. Boom. And if you look in the stage area, that's where Toby is, that's this area to the right, you'll see that you can no longer see the red arrow. Okay, so I'm going to do the same to the green arrow. We'll do the same to the green arrow. Just left click and drag to create a white box over the arrow. And voila, it's also gone. See, there we have it. So we have our maze without the arrow. So you can see even when you import backdrops, you can still make edits to those backdrops so that it looks the way you want. It feels the way you want. Okay, now that we have this, I think we can start with our coding. Our backdrop is not done, but we'll come back to the backdrop. Or I think let's just put the finishing touch to it now before we leave. We would need a finish line. Okay, so let's just add a finish line before we leave. All right, the finish line will be somewhere here. So, what color should I use? I think I would use, let me use a green. Feel free to use the color you want. I think I'm a little colorblind, or just in case I'm not selecting green, just bear with me. But I believe that should be a green. Okay, so with still selected, I'm just going to draw a green box over here as the finish line. Boom, like so. Yeah, so that is our finish line, and we can also see that it has updated here in the staging area where Toby is. All right, so guys, 1 minute. I'm going to jump back to the section here. So, all right, so I see we have a few questions here. How do you remove the arrow? Start again. All right, no problem. Let me just quickly go over that once more. Okay, so if you are where I am now, to go back to the backdrop, first of all, click on the stage, which is the bottom right corner of your screen, where my cursor is right now. You can see my cursor. Yeah, click there, all right? And then come up here, upper left corner of the screen, click on backdrops. So it's going to take you back to this stage. Okay, right? So this is where we are. Now, remember what I said earlier about getting rid of some things. Because I changed this to a vector, right, by clicking on the button that was down here, I can actually grab this white box that I created and move it. See, and my arrow is back. So all I did was I just maxed the arrow. I covered it with something so that it doesn't show. So that was what I did. So if you are having trouble with that, I'm just going to delete this and I'll do it again for those of us that didn't get it the first time. All right, so I'm going to zoom in just a bit. Use my scroll wheels to get it to where I want. Fantastic. All right. First things first, we need to select the tool that will draw the square, okay, which is the one down here, okay? You will see the shape. It's a square. Just click on that. Once it is highlighted blue, it means it has been selected, right? Okay, so another thing you need to do, because we want to blend with the background in Pictoblocks is white. We want to blend with that. So I'm changing the fill color. Fill basically means the color that will be inside, right? The color that will be inside, I want it to be white so that it blends with the background. For me to do that, all I have to play around with is the saturation, yeah? This one in the middle. If you drag it all the way to the left, it will change whatever color is there to white. Okay, so once you have that, You can then come back here and draw a box over the arrow. To draw the box, you just left click and drag. Left click and drag. See, I'm drawing a white box over the arrow to make it disappear. That's it. Quite easily done. Yeah. So if we got that, leave a thumbs up. Let me know that we've settled that. Then we move on. Okay. To have the maze as a backdrop, you upload it. Okay. When you go to the backdrop section here, don't click this way to look for a backdrop. No, all right. You upload your backdrop. Make sure you already have the backdrop saved or downloaded somewhere. Then over cursor, over this button here that says choose backdrop, go to the very first one at the top, the one that says upload backdrop. Click on that, okay? And then it will open up another window that allows you to choose where you actually want to, or where you save your backdrop. In this case, this is the backdrop I am using. I downloaded it from the internet. You can also do that in case you missed it. But like I said, these sessions are recorded, so you can always go back to rewatch it and just follow along because of time. Okay, so click on the backdrop you want and then click on open, and PictoBlox will import that backdrop into the scene. Okay, so now that we have that covered, I'm just going to quickly go into the coding aspect of things now. For our sprites, of course, we can use any sprite we want. Yeah, there are lots of sprites to choose from here. You can use any sprite you want. But I think I'm going to stick with Toby. I'll stick with Toby. Since it's already in my scene, I'm just going to edit the one in my scene. Now, it is too big for the maze. Is way too big for the maze. So first things first, I'm going to make Toby really small. I think a 20 should do. Aha. Now Toby looks like a fly, right? A fly that would buzz around. And then I'll just move him to the starting position here. Okay, so I think we are good to go and ready to start. All right, if we are together, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know we are together. Leave a thumbs up. Let me know we are together. Fantastic. Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you, Sobto. Okay. All right. To get PictoBlox, I showed earlier, right? Just Google PictoBlox. You'll see a link that says download PictoBlox. Click on that link and you just follow the steps. It's self-explanatory. All right. Okay, okay. Now, the first thing we want to do, right? Like I said, when you're coding, something you should always have at the back of your mind is don't try to rush things. Yeah, don't. If you try to do everything at once, everything just gets mixed up and you get lost. Okay, it becomes confusing. Try to do one thing at a time. Yeah, the first thing we want to start with is movement. How do we get to our character or our sprite respond to our arrow keys? Control B, use our arrow keys. So when I press the up arrow, I want Toby to go up. When I press the down arrow, I want Toby to go down. When I press left arrow or right arrow, I want Toby to respond. Okay, so for me to do that, okay, I would go to events, okay, and you see this command that says when space key pressed, I can use that command. So I'm just going to bring this out like so. Right? Then I'll change this to say, let's start with right arrow. Okay, nice. Right arrow. So what I'm saying invariably is this. When the right arrow key is pressed, something should happen, right? So what happened? I want Toby to move to the right. Okay, and for me to do that, I have to go to motion. Yeah, go to motion, and I have to look for a command that says change X by Y. Now the question is, why are we changing X? X is what controls horizontal movement. That is left-right movement. Yeah, left to right movement. X controls left to right movement. Okay, please type that if you're following. Type X controls left to right movement. Okay, type that in the chat box. So we always remember X controls what? Left to right movement. Okay. So, and I'm going to demonstrate that in a minute. So, I don't want Toby to move too fast, so I'm just going to reduce the speed to 5. So I'm saying when I press the arrow, I want Toby to change exposure by 5. Now, what happens when I press the right arrow on my keyboard? We notice Toby is moving to the right, yeah? You can see Toby is moving to the right. Fantastic. Now, how do I make Toby go to the left? Who can tell me? Anybody? Yeah? Yeah? Just because of our time, I'm going to duplicate this. In case you don't know how to duplicate, right click on the command. You'll see the option duplicate. Click on it. And I'll just move this, say down here. Okay? And I'll change. Remember, you need to be very, very specific. I want to move to the left now. So what do I change this to? Left. Okay? So when the left arrow key is, I want to change its position, but this time not to, excuse me, not to +5, the opposite direction. What's the opposite of positive? Yeah? Type in the comment section. What's the opposite of
Negative. Negative.
negative? Thank you. Fantastic. You guys are geniuses. Oh my goodness.
Negative.
Prodigies in the house. Okay. Thank you. So that means I'm changing this to -5. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Now watch what happens when I click or when I press. Thank you. Thank you so much. When I press the left arrow, you can see now I can control Toby to go to the right and to the left. Now, how about up or down? Now I'm pressing up, down, but nothing is happening. That's because we haven't given Toby the instruction. We haven't said, Toby, when the up arrow key is pressed, do this. We haven't said that. So that's why nothing is happening now, right? So I need to also state that, okay? So how do we do that? Still using this command, I'm just going to duplicate this, like so. I'll bring it down here, and then I'll change this to up arrow. But now, remember what I said. X controls the left to right movement. Now, what controls the up and down movement? That is Y, okay? Y controls up and down movement. Y controls what? Up and down movement. That means I need to get rid of this command. I don't want this command. I need to look for change Y by 10, okay? And I'm going to reduce the value to 5, okay? All right. Very quickly, I'm just going to duplicate and do the one for down arrow. What value will be here? Someone tell me. For down arrow, what value should be there?
-5.
Fantastic. -5. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, so let's test. I'm going to test all directions now just to make sure it's working fine. Okay, so going to the right, it works. Going to the left, it works. Going down, it works. Going up, it works. Nice. So we have our movements sorted out. Yeah? Remember, do one thing at a time. So we have our movement sorted out. All right? So what's the next thing? Let's think. What should be the next thing? If I look at the movement, something weird is actually going on here. For instance, Toby shouldn't be able to do this. He's walking through the wall. He's not a ghost. Oh my goodness. That shouldn't be possible. Nobody can walk through walls except ghosts. So Toby shouldn't be able to do this. Yeah. So we need to fix this problem. Okay. So usually when you're writing codes, you usually get into issues like this where something weird will just happen. Yeah. They're usually called bugs, and you need to figure out how to fix or remove the bugs. Okay. So now we've noticed that Toby is doing something he shouldn't do, because this will make the game too easy. Right? I don't even need to figure out which path to take. I'll just go all the way to the right like this and come all the way down. Game over. That's not a game. Yeah. So we don't want, except it's a cheat anyways, but we don't want that. So we need to be able to tell Toby not to go through the wall. Okay. We need to be able to tell Toby to go through the wall. Now, how do we do that? Yeah. Coding usually requires a little bit of ingenuity, like think out of the box, just be creative, because sometimes it may be a little difficult to just say some things to a computer, but you can look for, easier ways to say it to a computer. Now, to you, it's simple. I can just say, don't go or don't bump into the wall. Naturally, you won't even bump into the wall. I don't think anybody will know. You are going to your room now. You don't walk through the, the sitting room wall or anything. You have to go through the door, right? But even if your eyes are closed, you still try to feel around so that you don't bump into the wall. So we want to tell Toby to do the same thing. I want to tell Toby to sense if he is touching the wall. So imagine Toby's eyes are closed now. The only way he can navigate is by feeling his way around. So I need to tell Toby, sense if you are touching the wall. If you are touching the wall, then stop. Don't walk through it. Okay? How do I do that? Now, remember I made use of a word, sense, right? If I go to my category section, section that says we can use it. So sometimes when you run into problem, I'm giving you hints here. When you run challenges or you don't know what to do, sometimes talking about the solution or saying what you want the solution to be usually give you an hint as to the answer or what the command should be. Because I talked about sensing if I'm touching the wall now, that gave me an idea of, there's a sensing section here that I can actually go to, to get my commands. All right. So let's see what command here would work. Okay. Since the maze, the walls of the maze they have specific color, which is black, we can use that to our advantage. Okay. So I need more space here. I might have to 1 minute. Okay. Okay. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to create room here, so see what I'm doing. All right, so nice. Okay, I want to space all this out because we'll be adding some codes to them and it's going to be repetitive. Okay. Let me start with right arrow. I see a command here that says touching color. Okay, and we have a weird color in there. I can bring that out. That should work for us. No. So how do I tell Toby that if you are touching the wall, if you are touching the wall, or if you are sensing the wall? Notice I just use another keyword there. If, yeah. Usually when things out, it gives you an idea of what to do. So if
use the if
you are the wall. So thank you. Someone already said use the if. So I'm going to go to control. I'm going to look for if. All right. I will attach it here. Then I would say you will notice that this shape, the shape for this command, this sensing command, actually fits into the if statement or the if command. So I can just drag it and place it in here. So if touching the color, but this is the wrong. The color we want is the color of the wall, which is black. So the best way to get that color, please pay attention. The best way, of course, I just can change the color to black, right? I can do that. But the best way is always to actually pick the color, right? Pick the color. I'll show you how to do that. So the moment I click on the color in here, right? If you come down to the bottom, you'll see something that looks like a dropper. Yeah, if you've ever used all this, maybe eye drop, right? There's something that looks like that at the bottom here where my cursor is. That's a color picker, right? When I click on that, it allows me, you can see what it's doing. It's magnifying it so I can see the color I want to choose. All right, and the color I want is the color for the wall, which is black. So just make sure I'm on black and I would select that. Okay, and you'll notice the color has changed. So I'm saying if you're touching the black color, now watch what I'm about to do here. There's no way for me to say, don't go through the wall. But what I can say is go in the opposite direction. We know now that Toby is doing what? Whenever I click the right arrow, it's changing X by 5. So what I can do is I can look for change X. Okay, I will bring that command in, but I'm going to change it towards -5. Invariably, what I'm saying is this. When you sense the wall and I press the right arrow, you will do what? Go through it and back. But it will be so fast that you won't even notice it. Let me show you an example. I'm going to the right now. The moment I get to the wall, I'm still pressing the right arrow now. But it's actually going through, it's going forward and backward, forward and backward, forward and backwards. But because they are canceling out, it's more like saying, go forward, go back at the same time. It's like, what do I do? Should I go forward or do I go back? Do I go forward or do I go back? So it's standing still. Yeah. So the moment it gets to a wall and it senses the wall, if you keep pressing your right arrow, you are giving Toby 2 commands at the same time. You're saying go forward, which is the +5, and at the same time, you're saying go back, which is the -5. So Toby will do what? Stand still. It's more like saying, I'm bringing a little bit of math into this now. If you say something like +5 -5 or 5 -5, right? That will give you 0. That means nothing. So Toby would actually do nothing. Right? So we have +5 and we have -5. If you combine the two, it's 0. That means Toby will do nothing. So invariably, Toby will stop. So you notice now, when Toby gets to the wall, it does what? Stops. It doesn't go through the wall. So we fixed that problem. All right, let me test for other directions. So if I go down, oops, see? Now it's going down and it's going through the wall in this direction. And if I go to the left, it's also doing that. Can anybody tell me why that is happening? Anybody?
You've not
you can leave a comment.
because you didn't put the same man for the rest.
Oh, I didn't put the same value for, oh my goodness. This is, I'm going to hand over this class to you to just continue, yeah? Because this is very good. Very impressed. Very, very, very. Okay, but before I do that, yeah, before I duplicate the remaining commands to others, there are a few things I would like to do. First one is I want because when I was thinking of this game, I wanted a certain level of difficulty to it. Yeah, I don't want a game that is so easy to play. I want you to be, at the edge of your seat, playing this game. So you have to be very careful. So for me to do that, what I want to do is this. Whenever you bump into the wall, irrespective of where you are, even if you've almost gotten to the finish line, if you bump into the wall, you go back to the starting position. Yes, that's wicked, I know, but it's fun too. All right. So how do I do that? Okay. So at this point here where I'm saying if touching color, okay, and I said change X by -5, I'm going to use the command go to. Right now, because Toby is already at the starting position, the values are already there. So the values are correct, yeah? And to confirm it, if I come to the configuration area, that's this section down here, you will see the same value, -193 for X and 91 for Y. Also, you will notice what I told you earlier. This is X, right? Look at the arrow before X. What direction is it pointing at? Left, right. That is to tell you that X controls what? The left to right movement. Now, the arrow before Y, which direction is it pointing at? Up, down. That's to tell you that Y controls the up and down movement. All right, so always remember that. All right, so now this should be fun. So if I bump into the wall like so, boom, I go back to the starting position. So I have to be careful when I'm moving through the maze. So now I can duplicate this command for left arrow. Okay, duplicate the command. Oops, I just destroyed my game. Okay, sorry. Duplicate the command for up arrow. Well, this wouldn't work. Yeah, there's a problem here. Y is what we are using for up and down movements. Okay, and I'm saying change X. So this is not going to work. I need to change this value to change Y. All right. So change Y. Remember, you're moving in the opposite direction. Yeah. So if this is positive, this should be negative. If this is negative, this should be positive. Okay.
Positive.
Yeah, that is it. And then I'm going to duplicate this, put it here. This is negative, so this has to be what? Positive. Okay, so now let's test to see that it works. So if I go to the right and I bump into the wall, I should go back to the starting position. If I come all the way down and I bump into the wall, I should go back to the starting position. If I go left, I should go back to the starting position. So in any direction at all, once I bump into the wall, it should take me back to the starting position. So this makes the game a little bit more difficult. So you have to be very careful. You have to be extra careful when you're playing it. So all you're trying to do as a game developer is make sure people are not bored. No, if it's easy, I'll just go down, left, right. But when I know that, oh, I have to be very careful. If I bump into the wall, even though I've gotten to the end, I'll have to start all over again. I wouldn't want that. So I'll be extra careful. So now we've taken care of movement, and we've also added a little bit of difficulty to our game. Okay? All right. So up next, what should we do? Every game you play usually have lives, right? Right? No game lasts forever. Every game always come to an end. Please, if you are not muted, please mute so that we don't have interference. Thank you. All right. So how do we create lives in our game? Now, let me quickly talk about a very common concept in coding called variables, right? Variables are like containers that you can store information, right? So that when you need them, you can always go and get them. For instance, if I should call anyone on this call now, let's say Adeni, for instance, Israel, looking handsome. All right. If I say, please don't go anywhere. I'm just going to give an example. If I say, me, please go to the kitchen and get me Maggie, right? You know exactly where to go to, right? Is that true? I can see you nodding. You know exactly where to go to, okay? Because I know that your Maggie won't just be lying anywhere in the kitchen. It will probably be in a container where you can easily reach it. If I say, bring me salt, you know exactly where to go to get the salt, yeah? So everything is stored somewhere so that when you need it later, you can always come to get it, okay? That's what variable is like. It allows you to store different types of information so that when you need them later, you can always use them. So we're going to create a variable to hold the lives of Toby. All right, so how do we create variables? If I go here to my category section, you'll see a section here that says variables. I click on variables, and then I can click on make a variable. Yeah. Yeah. When I click on that, I have this pop-up window. So I can just type in lives like so. I'm going to leave the data type as numbers because, of course, we want numbers. All right. And I'll just leave it for all sprites. Toby is the only sprite we have here. So I'm just going to leave this option as it is. So I click on OK. Now you will notice that in the staging area, now I have lives, but it is set to 0. Okay. So now we can fix that. Usually when you start a game, you can start with maybe 3 lives or 5 lives or 10 lives. And then as you go on and you take damage, maybe the enemy is fighting or biting or eating you, those lives will begin to
Sir, please,
reduce.
can you put the variable again?
Variables. So, okay, sure. All right. So to create variables, yeah, go to this section, right? Go to this section that says variables, click on it, okay? Then to create a new variable, yeah, you click on make a variable like so. And then you can type in any name, right? For instance, we have, I can say score, for instance, yeah? And then I click on OK, and voila. See, score is also showing there apart from lives, right? So that's how you create a variable, okay? So, but I don't want score. I don't need score, so I'm just going to hide it. I only need lives, okay? Please pay attention. I'll be giving an assignment, very simple but technical assignment at the end of this session. So please pay attention. All right, so when the game starts, we want Toby to have at least 5 lives, okay? So how do I tell that to the computer? When I go to events, I want to trigger this game using the green flag. So I say, when the green flag is clicked, right? I want to set Toby's lives, which is this, to 5. 5. Okay. So when the green flag is clicked, I want to set the number of lives that Toby begins the game with to 5. So when I click on the green flag, you will notice that Toby's lives now are 5. Now, how do we create that effect where Toby's lives will begin to drop whenever it takes damage? Now, if anybody here should run into the wall, you will feel pain, won't you? Right? If you close your eyes and you keep running and you bump into a wall, you definitely feel pain. That's what I mean by taking damage. Yeah, it's going to hurt you. All right. So we want to mimic something like that. So whenever Toby bumps into the wall, part of Toby's lives would be removed or deducted. So how do we do that? We already have instructions here about Toby sensing and bumping into the wall. So what we can do is we can change the amount of lives Toby has by -1. So every time Toby bumps into a wall, we can deduct 1 from the total number of lives that Toby already has. So I'm just duplicating and I am adding it to the commands that already exist. Yeah. So you can see that even when you're writing code, you always come back to make revision and make adjustments. So now let's test this out. We're going to click on the green flag. Now, when I bump into a wall, this 5 should reduce to a 4. Let's see. And boop. Yep. I went back to the beginning and it reduced to a 4. If I come down here, I bump into a wall, boom. See, it went down to a 3 and I went back to the starting position. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, I'm trying to be careful here. Boop. See, now a 2, now a 1, now a 0. But there's a problem. If I keep going, I have -1, -2, and that is not right. Yeah. We can't have, when it's not a cat. Well, Toby is actually a bear, but yeah, cats have 9 lives. But in this case, Toby is not a cat. So what do we do? How do we rectify that problem? See, the reason why I'm walking us through all of this is because when you are writing codes, we already have a plan. We know what our game should look like. But you notice that, something is going wrong here. It's not stopping at 0. It's going to -1, -2, -3. That is a problem. So we need to fix that problem. All right. So how do we do that? Okay. So very quickly, our time is almost up. I'll soon round up anyways. So very quickly, don't worry, these sessions are recorded. You have ample time to go over it again and create your own games. Okay, so to do this, we can say, I'm going to bring in another event. When the green flag is clicked, I want to continuously check because I'm repeating the action. I want to continuously do something. I'm going to use a loop. Yeah, I want to continuously check if, are we together? If the lives Toby has is equal to 0. So how do I do that? I use an if statement. Okay, if the lives, we know that we created a variable called lives, so we know where to get that. Lives, I can bring this out. But the problem is this doesn't fit in here. So, and also remember I said if lives is equal to 0. So how do we do equal to? If we go to operators, okay, yeah, we have equal to here, and we see that it fits into the conditional statement. So we can just grab this, place it in here. So we can say if lives, put lives in here, is equal to 0, what do we want to do? We want to stop all action. So I can just come here and do what? Click stop. All right. So the moment we start the game, this will start checking. Toby's life is at 5, so it's not going to stop the actions. It will just keep running. When the life is at 4, it's still not equal to 0. When it's at 3, it's still not equal to 0. It's only when lives is equal to 0, that's when all actions will stop. But very quickly, I want us to actually create a game over screen and maybe a you win screen. Yeah, I think we'll just round up with that. Okay, very quickly. All right. So my work area is looking cramped, so I'm just going to zoom out a bit. I believe we can all still see my screen so that we have a bit more space. I don't like it so cramped. Okay, all right, nice. So very quickly, I'm going to go back to my backdrop by clicking on stage, okay, and I'll click on backdrops. I'm going to duplicate this backdrop that I have. So I'm just going to right click, duplicate. Okay. Now on this one, please note the name. The first one is Maze Simple. The second one is Maze Simple 2. It's important. Now on this one, I'm going to just create a text that says game over. So I'll click on this T, letter T here for text. I think I should use a different color here for game over. Should we use a red? I think a red. Is this a red? Or is this a red? That one is
Yes, sir.
okay. That's a red. Yeah. Oh, you guys are following. Thank you. Thank you for helping your colorblind.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to write game over. All right. Now this game over is way too tiny. Okay, so I'm going to click on this arrow to select it and make it huge. Yeah, and then I'll try to centralize it. Like so. Yes, perfect. Game over. Nice. Okay, so now I only want game over to pop up when lives is equal to 0. Are we together? I want game over to pop up when lives is equal to 0. And since we've already we've written the code for that, what I will do is go to looks. Yeah. And I will select switch backdrop to backdrop 2. Yeah, it's already there. Maze Simple 2, this one. Remember, if you don't know the name of your backdrop, you can always go back to check. When you go to backdrop, right? This is the name here. This one I'm highlighting. This is the name. All right. So you can always check for the name of your backdrop so you know which is which in case you have multiple backdrops. All right. So going back to my code. Now let's test this out very quickly. After this, then we will do a you win. That's when you get to the finish line. So I just want to get to 0. I want to get to 0 to see if, what's it called? If game over will pop. Okay. And 0. Game. Yes. So it works. We've done that. What else? What else? What else? What else haven't we touched? Now let's see. I'm starting the game again. I noticed another problem. I'm starting the game again, but the game over is not going away. Now that is not good. That is not good. How do we fix this? Okay, very simple. All we have to do is we just need to switch back to the first backdrop. That's the one without game over written over it. Yeah. So to do that is the same way we did this one. Just look for switch. Where is that command? Go to looks, switch backdrop to, I think I'll do this. Maze simple. So when the green flag is clicked, switch the backdrop to the first backdrop and then set lives to 0. Sorry, 5 rather. All right. Yes, and that works. See, so when I click the green flag, it goes back to the normal way it's supposed to be. And when the lives is equal to 0, it shows game over. Now that we have this done, let's very quickly just create a you win message. So when we get to the finish line, I want a message to pop up saying we've won. Another thing I would like to do is I would like, irrespective of, okay, let's just start with the you win. Let's start with the you win. I think I'll use a sprite for this. I don't need to create another backdrop for that. I'll use a sprite. So instead of bringing in a sprite, I'm going to paint a sprite. Please pay attention. Paint a sprite. I want to paint a sprite. So I'm just going to click on this option. And then I'll go to text, like so, the letter T. What color should we use for you win?
Green.
Green, okay. Green it is. All right. I think a bright green should work so that it's very obvious. Okay, so I'm just going to type you win. And I'm going to make this super big, like so. Still a bit bigger. Okay, I'm just trying to centralize it here. All right, nice. Should we leave it as it is? Okay, nice. So I've created a sprite called Ewing. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my code. But the thing is this, I only want this sprite to show when something happens. So when I start my game, I don't want this sprite to show. So when I start the game, I don't want it to show. So when I start the game, when I click the green flag, I want this sprite to hide. See, I don't want it to show. I want this sprite to hide when I start the game. So when I do this, it disappears. So it should only show when Toby has crossed this green line over here. So for that to happen, I need to write another instruction here for Toby. Okay, I'm almost done. Don't worry, in about 5 minutes, we'll be done. I can take a few questions and then I'll give the assignment, or I'll just tell you what the assignment is. It's just one simple task, but it may not be simple. It depends on how you look at it. Yeah. All right. How do we create a you win situation? So I think I can borrow idea from this command that we created earlier. Yeah. So let me see if I duplicate this, bring it down here. So I want to constantly check if Toby, but this time it's not the lives I'm after, if he has crossed the finish line. So I want to sense if he's touching the green line I created. Remember how I did the color picking? Click on the color, select this little icon down here, and then go and select or click on that green line so that Toby knows the color to look for. So if Toby is touching the green line, I want Toby, I don't want all these commands here. I want Toby to send out a message. Yeah, this is a new concept here that I would like to talk about briefly. I think it's in events. Yes, events, broadcast. Now, when I broadcast a message, it is not shown. You don't see the message, okay? You don't see the message, but the message will go out inside PictoBlock. So every other sprite will get the message, but you don't see the message. So when Toby touches the finish line, I want Toby to broadcast a message saying, what should it say? What should it say? Someone should give me an idea.
I win.
I win, yeah? Okay.
I won. I won.
Won. All righty.
I won.
Okay, I won it is. All right, so we have I won. So the moment Toby crosses the finish line, he's going to broadcast a message saying, I won. Now I need to go back to the sprite and tell the sprite, whenever you receive that message saying, I won, this message, I want you to do what? Show. So I go back to looks, and then I say show. Does that make sense? So it is only when Toby gets to the finish line that Toby will say, I won. And then when the sprite with this one we created, you win, when he receives that message, when he hears Toby screaming, I won, it's going to reveal itself, yeah, to show itself. Now let's put all of this to the test and see if our game is working the way it should. All right, first things first, we've already tested the game over. So let me just make sure that the live still works. Yes, I just lost the live. Now, let me try to be extra careful. Let me try to get to the finish line. It's not as easy as it looks, guys. Am I on the right path, people? Who has figured out the maze, Sam? I'm not sure. Have we figured out the maze? Am I on the right path?
Yeah. I
You sure? Where do I
Yeah.
go from here?
Down.
Down,
Down.
okay.
Down.
Where? I keep going down.
Down. Right.
Right, okay.
Down. Up.
Up, okay.
Right. Then right. Right.
Right,
Right.
okay.
Down.
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 Left. Left.
Down.
Okay.
Down.
Down. We're almost there. Left.
Down.
Right. Now my heart is beating. I don't want to make a mistake at the finish line. Okay. And boom, we win.
Whoa.
All right, that's me clapping for everyone. We did great. All right. So, like I said, I'll take 2 questions. Okay, but if it's about the game, of course, I will still answer. But if it's about the game, remember these sessions are recorded and a link will be shared, so you can go back, take your time, watch it, understand it, yeah, then try to recreate the game on your own. So we can see we've created a very simple maze game, but not that simple. When you're playing it yourself, you realize it's not that simple because I have to be extra careful so that I don't go back to the starting point, right? Now, for the assignment, right, we are going to create a timer for the game. Now, because there's no timer, I can take my sweet time. I can take like 5 minutes to finish this game so that I don't lose. But if I have only 60 seconds, you know, I can't relax. So you are going to create a timer for 60 seconds. If Toby doesn't get to the finish line, 60 seconds, the game should be over. Yeah? If Toby doesn't get to the finish line, by the end of 60 seconds, the game should be over. So you can create a timer. If you want, you can make the timer visible using, I was about to tell you how to do it. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you. I was about to say use it. No. I'm not telling you what to use. But yes, you can make the timer visible so that people playing the game can know how much time they have left. Okay. So create a timer for this game. That will create more anticipate more tension when playing the game. You know that, oh, I have maybe 45 seconds to complete this maze, or I have maybe 60 seconds, and then it makes it more fun. All right. So two questions. If you have questions, that will be a great time to ask.
Are we going to create timer on our laptop?
Yeah, sure. Create the timer on your laptop. Yeah, create the timer. Then you can just screenshot your code, right? Or just screenshot the entire screen, showing the code for the timer and also the timer, and then you can share that on the group so that I can take a look. Yeah, I would have said you should screen record, but that might be a little bit difficult. Just take a picture of it. That's a lot easier.
I picked up blocks. When I tried it, it's not working. Please help.
Okay, so since we are experts, most of you, in fact, you walked me through creating this game, right? So this assignment will be due by Wednesday. Yeah, so you have the rest of today and the whole of tomorrow to figure out how to create a timer for the game. By Wednesday morning is your deadline. I should see all entries. Okay, so make sure by 9 a.m. Wednesday you submitted your assignments. All right. Else, I won't come back to teach you how to create more fun games. There are lots of games to create: shooting games, adventure games, platformer games. All right. This is just the beginning. So make sure you do your assignment. It's very, very important. It's going to help you understand, right? It's going to help you understand the game and the different concepts we've talked about. We've talked about loops. We've talked about conditional statements, which are your if statements. We've talked about variables. All right. We've talked about sensing. We've talked about interactivity, where you use your arrow keys to control your sprites. So those are things that, when you practice, when you recreate the game, and when you do your assignments, you reinforce and you learn them better, right? Okie dokie. I think that would be it for today. Thank you all so much for your time. Who had fun?
Me.
Fantastic. So until the next time, looking forward to seeing you guys again.
Bye.
Also I did. So I enjoyed the part I like the most. For me, it's when you get to see turn left, turn right, do this, do that. I love that. Yeah. So keep it up. Well done, guys.
Bye.
Right. So I'm going to hand over to our chief hosts. Over to you, Gracie.
Bye.
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 All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Adeb.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much. Can you guys mute your mic? You can type thank you, Uncle Bukola, in the chat box. Tell him thank you. And I can't wait to see the amazing games you guys get to create.
Thank you.
Type it. Yeah, type it. Thank you, Uncle Bukola. Thank you. Yes. For Go, I can see your comment. Abimbola, I can see your comment. Dove Stein Consulting, I can see your comment. Yes, thank you so much, Uncle Bukola. All right, right about now, I'm going to be calling on Ibukoluwa Adio to give you the answers to the quiz questions which you had earlier. All right, Ibukoluwa, over to you.
Okay, hi everyone. Can you hear me? Hi everyone, if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay, all right. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Yeah, we go and share. Yeah, so making questions from the beginning. So what do you call a funny image or video that spread rapidly online? So I'm going to be calling that meme. It's called a meme. It's a meme. A meme is a funny image or video that spread across online. Then second one is, which online platform is known for short instructional videos on various topics? So I'm going to be calling that YouTube. I saw a lot of us in TikTok, but yeah, it's YouTube because YouTube has both short and long, but short. So I'll also give it to us. I said TikTok because now TikTok is also known for making videos in short form, both educational and non-educational, but the keyword here is instructional. Then what is the name of the first instructor of the session? That is in person of Mrs. Damilola Ojo. Then what's the acronym IoT? That's Internet of Things. Then when I work my way to leverage wealth, what do I get in return? So Mr. Rotimi said, wow effect. In fact, it was immediately he said that I said question. He said for your first thing you get from your W, he linked it, he called it wow effect. And then for the last question is what does CC acronym CC stand for in email terminology? And that is going to be carbon copy. Right, so those had the answers to the questions asked. And we have winners, right? So our winner for today is Mufokwe Oluwar. Please just give it up for Mufokwe in the chat box. Mufokwe got two of the questions correctly. So please let's put it in the chat box. Let's clap for Mufokwe Oluwar for winning today's session. I'm waiting, so 10 points added to Mufokwe. More comments, please. So while we're busy dropping our comments, yes, Mufokwe was very fast in dropping the questions. Okay, so today we've come to the end of today's session. In general, we've had two amazing instructors. So needless to say, I'd like to thank everyone on the call. I'd like to say a special thank you to everybody on the call for joining, for your consistency, enjoying the training every this week. We started last week, Tuesday. And now we're going to continue till the end Friday. Thank you to everyone, to our parents. Thank you for allowing your children and your words available. And for those who are participating, thank you so much for being around. So we're going to continue the session now, and I'm going to pass the microphone to Grace. And any other information that you want is going to be kept in the Telegram community. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Ibukun Adio. I'm sure we already saw the questions that we got right and the ones we missed. All right, awesome. Thank you, Ibuku, for that session. Okay, quickly, I'm just going to be sharing some announcements. There will be no training tomorrow because of the public holiday. However, on Wednesday, there's going to be a training. That's going to be at day 5, and I'm sure you guys cannot wait to see what we have for you. Okay, so on Wednesday, we'll be having a training, and also do not forget to submit your assignments on Wednesday morning by 9 a.m. And in addition to that, I hope you've started working project, because there'll be project presentation on Friday by 12 p.m. as usual. All right. So if you have any questions regarding the project, please to endeavor to drop it in the Telegram community, on the Telegram community. Okay. If any questions, if there's anything you're not clear with, please just drop it in the Telegram community. We're about to end this session now. All right.
How do we drop the assignment?
Adeni Israel. Okay. Please unmute your mic and speak.
How do we drop the assignment?
In the Telegram community, Israel. I believe you're part of the community already, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so the link is there. If you're yet to join the Telegram community, please endeavor to join. We're going to be updating you on different things. And also the replay of the session. This morning session could be, the link will be shared in the Telegram community as well. So you can do well to go through it again, practice all that you've learned today, go over the sessions, and I'm sure that you'll be better for it. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. If you enjoyed today's session, can you just drop in the chat box? Thank you, TCKs. I will do more with tech. Where have you put that in the chat box? Say thank you. I will do more with tech. All right, I'm waiting for your comments.
I'll do more with
Thank you, TCK Zone. I will do more with tech. Thank
I'll
you,
do more with
David. I can see your comments. Westline Consulting. Thank you. Thank you so much. Mofokwe Foluwa. Thank you. Yes, I will do more with tech. All right, until Wednesday, you guys have a great afternoon. Have a great evening. Okay, please turn on your camera. We're about to just turn on your camera. Turn on your camera and just wave bye. Yeah, everyone turn on your camera. Everyone turn on your camera. Everyone, please turn on your camera. Yeah, hope I can see you. Omokose, I can see you. Forever Blessed, yes, I see you. Ufokpefolu, I see you. Israel, I see you. All right, Adebola Alexander, I see you. Okay. Vivian, I see you. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Bye, everyone. Until next time. Yeah. Bye. Yeah.
Divine.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Miss Divine.
Bye, everyone.
Divine.
Let's give mommy Dabera her phone. You know she's using her phone. Let's give her her phone so that in the night when my phone is around, so you can do what you want to do with. Tomorrow they said you don't have any class, so we will watch all those shows again. Understand?
They are true.